ask myself, is she sound enough? I think a rear skeleton maybe just gets me a little more skeptical for me. And then I think there's another one that comes into contention that maybe I'd like to tweak her in a few areas, maybe up front, but I think it's relatively close. I'm going to go ahead and give them one more look and then show you the two that I like. But let's give these young people a big round of applause.
You won the heifer show. Oh. Good job. Paige, whenever you're done, I'll use that again.
Just do it.
Okay.
We can always come back to it.
Congratulations to Tucker on winning champion of the heifer show, and Trevor on third.
It's not fixed.
Entering the ring next will be our feeder market class show. There is one exhibit.
Oh. No,
Why aren't you pairing?
He's got the right kind of center body. He's got some power from behind, and he grabs the surface with the right kind of flexibility and reach and relaxation on either ends of his skeleton. It still offers a nice proportional look from the side. I think the young man's got a really nice prospect to bring back a faster for us next year. Congratulations to you.
First blue and grand champion market class. In the ring next will be our Pee Wee showmanship. There are 3 entries. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please don't do this again. This is crazy. I think.
Oh my.
Okay. Reminder in the barns, this is the last class for open. So we would like to get moving right away with the junior show breeding class. Please report to the arena. Oh,
Everything's working out.
yeah, then we're fine. Yep.
Well, working with peewees is one of my favorite things to do. I'm an expecting aunt. My sister is due to have her baby any day now, and I'm looking forward to the days of this when we get to take a little girl into the ring with a little prospect for her. It's just a ton of fun, and this is where it all gets started. I think all three of these exhibitors are doing an exceptional job out here for us this morning. They're always maintaining eye contact with me. Obviously, this is the very, very beginning of their show careers, so they got a long way to go. But unfortunately, I only get to pick one of them today to be your champion, and I just think the young lady in the pink top has been doing an exceptional job all morning long. But let's give all of them a big round of applause. Good job, sweetie. Can I get a fist bump? Boom. Fist bump. Boom. Can I get a fist bump, boss? Awesome.
Oh, Brindley. Thank you. Okay, no, here comes Taylor. They were just watching. Okay. Congratulations to Brindley Bush on being the champion Pee-wee shower. Congratulations, Brindley. The other recipients of blue ribbons were Morgan Rosfold and Baron Schleifer. That concludes our our open class. We are now moving right into the junior fair. So coming into the ring first will be our first class, our Angus heifer, one entry.
for me, and then it's still able to grab the surface with the right kind of flex and ease. Now, in an ideal world, maybe I'd freshen her up just a skosh in terms of her condition. I think she's riding a really fine line for me. Not that it's quite a concern, but I think we're maybe getting there just a shade, but that's getting awfully, awfully critical on a really high quality heifer. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to Taylor Laufenberg on receiving a blue with her Angus heifer. Into the ring next. Oh, we got to give Taylor a few minutes to get from one end to the other. She's a quick little girl, though. She will be coming in next with her Charlie heifer. The Pee Wee Showmanship banner was sponsored by Jerome and Hope Laufenberg. I would like to introduce our judge again. Her name is Grace Angotti. She is from Freedom, Wisconsin. She attended Black Hawk East and was part of their livestock judging team. Later, she attended Western Illinois University, finishing her bachelor's and judging career. She is now the assistant judging coach and professor at Black Hawk East. Please give Grace a round of applause. I would also like to thank our ring help, Miss Brooke Geezy. Clap. And Paul Fisher and Natalie Olson are running the things over here. Thank you all.
Well, another really nice single entry, and I'm probably sounding a tad like a broken record, but I think this is another one that definitely could have withstood some competition. Angularity, femininity, and having that kind of bold body type definitely screams my kind. And then she gets out and she's got a deep, durable heel. I really like cattle that have that kind of appropriate set to their hind leg. It just screams functionality to me. Now, I think she does get a little bit easier in her spine, but hey, when you're that bold and broody about the center portion of your body, and I'm assuming getting to a point where you're a little bit heavier bred, maybe that just comes with a little bit of maturity. But this is an awfully nice, flexible female. Congratulations to you, young lady.
Congratulations to Taylor Laufenberg on receiving a blue and champion Charlet heifer. In the ring next will be our key heifer. There is one entry.
Well, if you like cattle packing a little extra heat and coming with some true genuine horsepower, she's probably your speed. Young ladies, Bon Baldy Heifer certainly just screams genuine cow power. Get in behind her, and she offers so much turn to the upper portion of her rib cage and is massive in terms of her pin set. I actually think maybe a little bit of this power is actually working to her undoing. I think she gets a shot more vertical off either ends of her skeleton, and for all the heat she's packing up high, she maybe wants to funnel and close up to the surface. But hey, young lady's got a fresh, well-managed heifer in terms of her condition. Props up with a nice look from the side. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to Brenna Thorson on receiving a blue ribbon and the champion key heifer. Entering the ring next will be our 2 entry class for our dairy beef heifers.
And I think it's relatively close between the pair. It's just going to be personal preference. And for me, I just prefer the angularity and lines found in the young lady's predominantly black heifer to go ahead and start. I think she just ties higher out of the top side of her shoulder. I think she's longer and leveler about of her hip, out of her rear skeleton. Now, if I wanted to change her, I think if you catch her walking away, she maybe wants to pull her hock ever so slightly and needs to be squared up from there to the ground, in my opinion. But I think balance and proportionality is where that one has the advantage. Nothing to take away from the young lady's blue roan heifer, who's going to go ahead and be second in this particular class, because I actually think she's bolder and broodier through the center portion of her body. I just wish maybe I could lengthen her out and level her about her hip. She maybe just wants to duck her pins just a shade when you set her into motion. But 2 really nice heifers for the young ladies.
Go ahead and circle right out.
Congratulations to Ella Rosfold on receiving a first blue and champion dairy. And congratulations to Lyric Rosfold on receiving a second blue and the reserve dairy heifer. Entering the ring next is a 1 entry Simmental heifer.
or Simmental cattle because it's what I grew up showing with. And this female screams to me low input brood cow. She's sensibly sized, got plenty practical about the center portion of her body, and gets out and goes plenty comfortable for me. Maybe I'd like to freshen her up because she's pushing the envelope for me in terms of condition. Maybe carrying just a tad more chest up front. But then again, she just screams good functional cattle. Congratulations to you, young man.
Congratulations to Cordell Sampson on receiving first blue and champion Simmental. Entering the ring next will be our any other breed heifer. There is one entry. Heads up in the barn. We do have one more class in the breeding heifer class, and then we will do the champion heifer drive, bred and owned champion, one
just screams to me cow power, get off either ends of her, and she just is a true powerhouse. But then again, I think it's kind of the same story as the last time. Power's working against this female because sure, she sets down on some foot size and feature, but that's a harsh middled heifer that desperately needs to be relaxed in the angle of her shoulder and gets all too calculated about her rear step. Just needs to be rearranged in terms of her skeleton. Congratulations to you, young lady.
Thank you. If you ever want any water too, we have water in the coolers, okay?
Congratulations to Andrea Ellickson on receiving a first blue and champion any other breed. Entering the ring next, we have our crossbred class. There are two entries.
going to go ahead and leave you ladies the way you stand. So young lady, you're going to be first. You're going to be second. Two totally different kinds represented here in the commercial side of things, and I do think it's relatively close between the pairs. Obviously, we're at different points of maturity. We've got a bigger outline, bolder body type of heifer, and then we've got a little bit greener, more immature type of female. So you just have to decide where you're going to land your priorities. I have to decide what the young ladies, females, added performance, body shape, and rib design get to the three-quarter view, and there's just so much more bulk and spread that just screams lower input brood cow to me. Now, I'm not here to tell you that she's just perfect because she's a deeper, coarser neck type of heifer who maybe at times gets a little more rigid in terms of her hock and just maybe needs to be changed just a shade in terms of her hoof shape, but just in terms of body shape, rib design, and cow power, that's where I just decided to land on her. Now, I might actually prefer the way the young lady's belted Galloway female grabs the surface off either end, but it's easier to be sounder when there's just not quite as much to you. Get off either end of her, and she's just more two-dimensional in terms of her type and kind, but two nice heifers for the young ladies. Congratulations to you both.
Congratulations to Julia Berg on receiving a First Blue and Champion crossbred. Congratulations to Alyssa Lindo on Reserve Champion crossbred.
You just said they're all sand, but I said
Okay.
I think it'll automatically go.
Okay. So the bred and owned.
But
Okay.
yeah,
So entering the ring now, we will be doing the Champion Heifer Drive. Angus is Taylor Laufenberg, shown by Macy Casper. Charlay Taylor Laufenberg. The key division goes to Brenna Thorson. Dairy is Ella Rosfold, and the reserve for that one is Lyric Rosfold. Simmental, Cordell Sampson. Any other breed, Andrea Ellickson. And Julia Berg for crossbred. And Alyssa as reserve. They don't get ribbons, no. Tate Yeski, we need your feeder calf. I see you're coming. Thank you.
Well, it's always just a ton of fun when you get a call from your home state to come out and get to evaluate some cattle. I grew up inside the show ring just like you young people did, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It teaches you a lot about yourself, true integrity, how to win with grace, how to lose with grace. There's just so many life lessons to be learned right here in this ring, and you guys just don't even know it yet. In a few years, when you get out into the real world and maybe go off to college and you're not living with mom and dad anymore, you're going to realize the true benefits that came out of being a part of the livestock judging or the livestock showing. I promise you that. It just teaches you so much about hard work, time management. I mean, the lessons go on and on. So truly, you young people should be proud of the hard work that you've put in this summer. I know it's no easy task to get your cattle managed and looking this way. So that's a testament to you young people for the commitment that you have to this. Let's go ahead and give these guys a great big round of applause. Now, maybe this morning we didn't have just a ton of numbers, but that doesn't matter when you have just an immense amount of quality come into the ring. I get to pick 5 of these, and I think it gets really, really close in a few areas. I probably have my mind made up of how I'm going to go, but you parents need to be proud of these young people because I truly mean this. It's not every day I get to go out, judge a fair, and just have people that just never have an eye roll or a head bob or any look of disappointment, and maybe how they did in today's show. So that's just a true testament to you parents of how good of a job you're doing raising your young people. So please, you kids here inside the ring, make sure you go find mom, dad, Aunt Nellie, Uncle Sue, whoever it was that got you here today, and give them a big hug and a big thank you because it takes a village to do what we do. I'm 23 years old and I still count on my village at times to come help me out, and maybe they're still attending a livestock show for me 1 or 2 every year and to sit in the stands and cheer me on now that I'm on the other side of things. So please, young people, make sure you thank the people that you need to. Let's go ahead and give these guys one more big round of applause, and then I'm going to show you the 5 that I like.
Congratulations to Taylor Laufenberg on winning the champion heifer. She is showing a Charlet. The grand champion female beef banner is sponsored by Mossman Farms. Congratulations to Taylor Laufenberg on winning reserve champion with her Angus. The reserve champion female banner is sponsored by Dan and Wendy Everson. Congratulations to Brenna Thorson on 3rd overall with her Key. Congratulations to Cordall Sampson on 4th overall with his Simmental. Anybody that has bred and owned heifers, please stay up here because we will be selecting bred and owned also. Oh, Taylor will get both. Yeah. Never mind. Taylor Laufenberg will be both Grand and Reserve, bred and owned. They're both bred and owned, right? Yeah. Who was fourth? Who was fifth? Congratulations to Julia Berg on receiving 5th overall with her crossbred. I know. And champion bred and owned breeding heifer belt buckle plaques. Ooh, that's a lot to say for me. We're sponsored by Jackson County Farm Bureau. Reserve Grand Champion bred and owned breeding heifer belt buckle plaques was sponsored by Sampson Grain Farms. Whew. Entering the ring now is a single entry for our feeder calf. How long should we take? 5, 10 minutes? 5? If our attention in the barn.
Well, this is a great way to go ahead and get into the market side of things. Young man's doing an awfully nice job out here getting his project presented for us. For being as young as he is, man, oh man, he's a real good showman. And then he brings us a really nice calf on top of it. He's got the like kind of length and extension. I love how he ties so high and extended out of the top side of his skeleton. He's practical about the center portion of his body and flexible at the surface. Obviously, he's really green in terms of his condition, and only time's going to tell on this one. But the pieces are there. Now the young man's just got to go home and feed on him. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to Tate Yeski on reserving champion feeder. We're going to just take a couple-minute break so everybody can get back to the barn from the heifer show, and then we will be starting our market. To start out with our market show. We know where he is, but we're going to start anyway. Entering the ring first will be our dairy steers. There's 2 in this class, and they range in weight from 1,400 to 1,748 pounds. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not just a ton of numbers here in the dairy beef side of things. And obviously, we're at 2 totally different points in terms of weight and immaturity. And I can understand if you want to side with the bigger outline, heavier weight kind of steer. But actually, I just think there's more genuine meat animal shape in the more moderately sized steers kind. He meets my hand with so much more turn to the upper portion of his rib cage. And surprisingly, I wasn't quite sure if he was going to feel bare, but he actually handled with the melanin a finish that works for me, and he just offers so much turn and flare to the outer portion of his stifle compared to the one directly behind him. Now, like I said, this is a big outline, extended and long-bodied kind of a steer, but I think he's just more two-dimensional in terms of his type and kind. From behind, he just needs more shape in terms of his stifle. He's the shallower, twisted option that just didn't come as aggressive in his shape up high, but 2 really nice steers for the young people. Go ahead and give him a round of applause.
Congratulations to Zoe Schultze on receiving first blue and champion dairy. Congratulations to Jake Olson on receiving a second blue and reserve champion dairy. Entering the ring next will be our Charlet steers. There are 4 entries, and they range from weight to 1,230 pounds to 1,410. In the barn, just so everybody is aware, the Charlet are in the ring right now. So please make sure you have your key steers here, mini Herefords and Maine and Jews. We would also like to thank our photographer in the ring today, Lisa Kaska. She is Lisa Marie Photography. You can check her out on Facebook. Also, go to her website to download fair pictures for free. Thank you, Lisa, for taking our pictures. Also, thank you to Miss Angela Fisher, who is sitting up in the penthouse over here. She also takes action shots and also takes all of our pictures for the sale selection. Thank you, Angela.
Well, just a few more for numbers here in the Charlet side of things. But I never wavered on finding this young man's cream-colored steer to start. I think he just simply dominates this particular class. Obviously he's extremely fresh, and then you just get in and study on him, and that's a stout-featured, powerfully made rascal that when you get off to the side of him, just comes with so much power and punch. Get in behind him. He's got the right kind of pin width and clearance in his hock. Now, if I were to get critical on him, I do think he gets a shade more vertical in terms of his shoulder, but that's being awfully critical on a really nice place to start. Now, where I thought it got just a little bit closer was here between 2 and 3, and I have to decide with the young man's orange-colored steer to go ahead and wind up second in this particular class. Now, I know he's lighter weight, but I think when you just study the angles and the pieces of that one, he's just more my speed. I know he's a little bit more immature in terms of his type and kind, but he actually still feeds the right kind of shape out of the backside of his shoulder. He's massive in terms of his upper hip, but then again, I wish I could pry him apart at the base of his forehead, have him draw softer back into his flank, and he maybe wants to funnel and close up to the surface. The young man who's coming third, he probably fixes all my problems that I've got with the second place steer because there's just more of him. I prefer his lower body shape, and obviously we're just coming maybe more with a little more muscularity and shape over the top side of our skeleton. I think when you set him in motion, though, the longer-toed steer just gets a little more rigid about his pastern and a shade more pitched forward in the angle of his shoulder. Young man who's going to go ahead and round us out. Long-bodied steer that's got some turn to the upper portion of his rib cage, but his frailer featured kind maybe just doesn't come with the bells and whistles of those ahead of him, but a nice class all the way through.
Congratulations to Riley Laufenberg on receiving a first blue and champion Charlet. Brett Mossman, second blue and reserve Charlet. Andrew Mossman on a first red, and Justin Kling on a second red. Entering the ring next is our key steers. There are 5 in this class, and they range in weight from 1,169 to 1,472 pounds. Do you need anybody? So you need Nora Bush. Attention in the barns. Nora Bush, we need your mini Hereford steer up here right away. Congratulations to Jake Stiesel on receiving first blue and champion key steer. Cordell Sampson, second blue in reserve. Franny Everson on a first red. Andrea Ellickson, second red, and Grace Kling, a first white. And in the ring now is our mini Hereford. They range in weight from 794 to 802. Tilly, do you need anybody? Should I get Shorthorns up here starting?
Well, mini Herefords are always a blast to get to study, but then when you can bring one that's this high quality, it just makes my job just a ton of fun. It's not every day that you can find a mini Hereford that comes with this kind of skeletal quality look from the side and then still backing it up with the right kind of shape and muscularity. I mean, he's just flat out good. I could study him all day long because he's just functional, good cattle, and to become that flexible at the surface, he's just really unique. Congratulations to you, young man. Nothing to take away from the young lady because I think her steer checks a lot of boxes for me in terms of muscularity over the top side of his skeleton. He's a deep-bodied kind of a steer. Maybe just doesn't come with the same kind of extension or look from the side of my pick to win, but two really nice entries for the young people. Go ahead and give them a round of applause.
Congratulations to Bo Peterson on winning a first blue and champion mini. Congratulations to Nora Bush on reserve mini Hereford. Entering the ring next are the Maine and Jew steers. There are 4 entries and they range in weight from 1,296 pounds to 1,410. Attention in the barns, please get your shorthorn steers this year for handing out ribbons. They will introduce themselves.
You want us to go out in the...
It's up to you. You can just go out here too.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Amara Streff and I am your 2025-2026 Fairest of the Fair.
Hey everyone, my name is Caitlin Ospish and I'm your 2025-2026 Fairest of the Fair First Attendant.
Hello, everybody. My name is Madison Foster. I'm your 2025-2026 second attendant.
Good morning, my name is Samantha Blazik. I'm your 2025-2026 First Attendant.
We just want to say thank you so much for coming out and supporting these youth who have spent so much time on this project.
There you are. Thank you, girls, for helping the show. I haven't been.
For some sort for me, but I never wavered on siding with the young ladies all black calf to go ahead and win this particular class. Stopped and propped up. I can tie into that kind of balance and proportionality all day long. If you guys can keep bringing me ones like that, I'll certainly be one to tie into it. Now, no doubt, he feeds as much aggressive shape over a bold rib design as any of them, brings it back into a massive pin set from behind, but I'm not here to tell you that he's just perfect. I think he could be relaxed in the angle of his shoulder and just have a little bit more set in terms of his knee. And maybe he wants to flat in terms of his lower quarter and stifle. Just gets a little more calculated out of his rear step, but stopped and propped up. That one screams my kind. Where I thought it got a little bit closer is here between 2 and 3, but I have to decide with the young man's fresh-made, practical design steers. Balance and dynamic look from the side. I love his added extension up front. His body shape and rib design is just my speed. But maybe there again, kind of a similar story to our class winner. Catch him going away. He wants to pull his hog just a shade, just doesn't have quite as much lower stifle shape as I like. Now, this is a practical, good-bodied, moderately sized steer that offers as much width and spread up high as any of them, and certainly sets down on some foot size and feature. I think he's just plainer in the way that he's made, just doesn't come as aggressive in his shape, just not quite as powerful from behind. Young man who's going to go ahead and round us out, probably similar to our type and kind of our third place steer, practical, good-bodied kind of a steer that's never going to lose you money. Maybe just doesn't come with the bells and whistles of look from the side or stoutness of feature, but a nice class all the way through.
Congratulations to Macy Casper on first blue and champion Maine, Riley Laufenberg second blue and reserve Maine, Sam Everson on a first red, and Brewer on a second red. Entering the ring next will be our shorthorn steers. There are 4 in this class, and they range in weight from 1,250 pounds to 1,371. Yeah, if you want this side, float that out like that. Do you want to float that? You can. With the page, okay.
The
I think stopped and propped up. You have to tie into the young man steer. I think throughout the entire class, maybe we have a few structural dilemmas, but when you get past that and start thinking about totals, that's where you have to land on this young man's fresh, good made, balanced steer to go ahead and win this particular class. He's bold about the center portion of his body, meets my hand with the right kind of aggressive shape up high. He sets down on the right kind of foot size and feature for me. I just think he needs to be squared up front. He's kind of searching up there through his shoulder, needs to be relaxed there and squared up there at the surface. But shoulders back, there's certainly a lot of quality to be studied. I think it gets close here between 3 and 4. I just have to decide with the fresher made steer's kind. He's a big outline, long-bodied steer who just offers so much more fresh and aggressive shape over the top side of his skeleton. I think he's more tubular through the center portion of his body. Maybe just doesn't have the feature at the surface as my pick to win. A young lady steer who's coming next. I commend her for sticking with it because maybe he's just not wanting to cooperate out here for her. But I think this steer's kind of similar to the one that we had directly in front of her. Maybe just comes at a heavier weight. He's got some turn to the upper portion of his rib cage. And when we get him to settle in, I think he's plenty flexible at the surface. I think he's just more harsh in terms of his center body, wants to cut up in his flank, just doesn't come with the same kind of fresh look from the side. Young man who's going to go ahead and round us out. He's as practical through the center portion of his body as any and offers some length and extension. Maybe just gets more round off either ends of his skeleton. Doesn't come with the same kind of elite pieces as some of the others that we had in class. Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause.
Well, people have been asking. Congratulations to Cordell Sampson on first blue and champion shorthorn. Levi Stiesel, second blue and reserve champion. Kendall Campen, first red, and Preston Yeski, second red. In the ring at this time is our Simmental steers. There are 3 entries ranging in weight from 1,428 pounds to 1,515. This time is the Simmental steers. Any other breed should be in holding. Market heifers in holding. Crossbred medium weight A's and B's can please start.
If you want to just pull him up for me and then come around. Well, a really nice class of Simmental steers, and it didn't take long to find the young man's blaze face steer to go ahead and win this particular class. That's a fresh, strong, structured, good built kind of a steer. That certainly is my type and kind. I like cattle that only get better in motion, and that's just what this guy does. He actually surprised me because from the side, he maybe didn't hit me like he was going to have just an immense amount of power, but I was pleasantly surprised when I got in behind him to have that kind of pin width and power. Nothing to take away from the young man. He's going to go ahead and be second in this particular. He's as practical about the center portion of his body and powerful from behind as any of them. Maybe just doesn't do it in quite as unique of a package as the one ahead of him. Just wish I could maybe freshen him up. He wants to get outside of himself just a shade from behind. And then the young man who's going to go ahead and round us out with the baldy white sock steer. He's a big outline, soft-centered kind of a calf who still offers some spread up high. I just don't think he does it to quite the degree of those ahead of him. Round hip steers, just more apex in terms of his rib design, but a really nice class all the way through.
Congratulations to Bryce Laufenberg on a first blue and champion Simmental. Congratulations to Colby Sampson, second blue and reserve Simmental. Congratulations to Jake Kling on a first red. Entering the ring at this time is the Any Other Breeds beef steers. They range in weight from 1,175 pounds to 1,453 pounds. Attention in the barns, please get your crossbred steers to the holding area. On first blue and champion AOB. Congratulations to Nora Bush on second blue and reserve champion AOB. Thank you. Entering the ring next is our market heifers. There's two exhibitors. They range, not the exhibitors, the animals range in weight from 1,242 pounds to 1,306.
heifer, sound her out of her rear skeleton, and there's just more to her. Get off either end of her. She just offers more shape, width, and spread over the top side of her skeleton. She's bolder about the center portion of her body, just offers more power from behind. And then, like I said, set that one in motion. She just offers more range of motion out of her rear skeleton, which is just more my speed. Initially, I really wanted to tie into the fresh, good-haired young lady's heifer who offers such a dynamic look from the side. She has so much extension of out of the front side of her skeleton. It's just when push comes to shove, she gets more restricted off either ends of her skeleton, and it's maybe just a shade more two-dimensional compared to the one directly ahead of her. Two really unique heifers, really, really close.
Congratulations to Austin Laufenberg on winning first blue and champion heifer. Congratulations to Kennedy Laufenberg on second blue and reserve market heifer. Entering the ring, we just got to give Kennedy a few minutes to get to her next steer. Huh? I say minutes because I'm old. Entering the rings next will be our first crossbred class. This will be medium weight A. These steers range in weight from 1,319 to 1,445. I would like to again thank our judge for coming today, Grace Ann Gotti. She is from Frieden, Wisconsin. She attended Black Hawk East and was part of their livestock judging team. Later, she attended Western Illinois University, finishing her bachelor's and judging career. Now she is the assistant judging coach and professor at Black Hawk East. Thank you, Grace, for coming. This is medium weight A. Crossbred? Yes.
two, and I think I just needed to take a little bit more time to go ahead and study them and break them down. Excuse me. And I think it gets close because I want to take pieces of both of them and put them together and have a really, really unique one. But I think this young man's steer up front is just packing so much heat over the top half of his skeleton. I love the shape to his rib design, his upper pin. That one's got so much square shape out of the backside of his shoulder and still offers a unique look up front. Now, I maybe wish for all the power we're carrying up high, we had a little bit more feature there at the surface. And I think when you set him in motion, he wants to pull his hock just a shade. And maybe that's where I have an advantage in the young lady steer directly behind him. I feel bad that she's keep going second in class because you can tell she's working really hard this summer at home. She's bringing me fresh, good-looking steers, and he might have the advantage in terms of foot size and feature and set down on a bigger foot and bone, no doubt about it. But when you put this guy into motion, plainer fronted steer gets all too vertical in the angle of his shoulder and round out of his hip, maybe just doesn't maintain the same kind of balance and motion. And I just want to crack him open at the base of his forehead. But a really nice, fresh, good made, and attractive steer to get in and study on close there between the top two. Young lady steer here in third. Maybe he's not quite wanting to cooperate with us out here today, but that's okay. He's still got some turn to the upper portion of his rib cage and muscularity and shape. Maybe just doesn't do it in quite as unique of a package, more around either ends of a skeleton. Young lady who's going to go ahead and round us out. Pretty similar in terms of his type and kind. Practical about the center portion of his body. Just a good heavyweight kind of a market steer. Maybe wants to get outside of himself on the go. Just needs to be freshened up in terms of his type and kind.
Congratulations to Adam Osman on a first blue, Kennedy Laufenberg second blue, Morgan Berg first red, and Bristol Bush on a second red. Entering the ring at this time is our medium weight B crossbred steers. They range in weight from 1,460 pounds to 1,514. At the conclusion of this class, we will be selecting the Grand and Reserve Champion Crossbred steer. And then after that, we will be doing our championship drive. So all Grand and Reserves for your breed, please make your way to the show arena. What time is it? Oh, we're doing good. It's 11:30. Yeah, sorry.
it's close here on the top end because I think these two steers are probably cut from the same cloth, and maybe a problem that I have with one, I have the same problem with the other, and I want to tweak them in that area. So what allows the young man steer to go ahead and win this particular drive, although they have the same problems, he just does it in a more powerfully constructed package. I think that one's form and foot size, read true power. He's massive up high over the top side of his skeleton, just an absolute behemoth in terms of muscularity, shape, and power there at the surface. But like I said, they probably both have the same problem. He's more cumbersome in the way that he goes, just doesn't get out and reach the way maybe I'd like him to, but stopped and propped up. I'm all in on the stoutness of feature and power found in that guy. Now I understand the young lady steer might offer more look up front and tie a shade higher out of the top side of his skeleton. It's when you get in behind this one, I just wish there was more there. I want to bust him open and give him more shape and flair to the lower portion of his stifle. And like I said, they're pretty similar in terms of their type and kind. I'm not sure he's just the most comfortable out of his rear skeleton either, but really close there between the top pair. And then the young man who's going to go ahead and round us out. Another one that's a heavyweight, practical kind of a market steer who's got the right kind of center body, maybe just doesn't come with the same kind of bells and whistles. Wish I could freshen him up just a shade, have him offer the same kind of unique look from the side, but a really nice class. Excited to get into our crossbreds.
Congratulations to Austin Laufenberg on receiving first blue, Brenna Thorson second blue, and Colby Sampson first red. We are now selecting the champion crossbred steer. At the conclusion of this class, we will be doing the championship drive. What we are going to do, so attention exhibitors, what we are going to do is have the reserve champions do a lap through the ring, and your name will get announced, and then you can just exit the ring and come back to the holding area, and then the champions will come out and stay in the ring. What do you think? Is everybody ready? Or do you need, you guys that just are coming out? Okay. We just go, yeah. We'll just go, Brian. Say that again? Yeah.
Well, man, oh man, you guys certainly didn't disappoint here this morning in Jackson County. Even to our last division, there's just a ton of quality, which certainly makes my job just a little bit difficult. But hey, that's what makes my job just a ton of fun, all in the same breath. I have to decide which one suits me best, and that's just what it's going to come down to is personal preference for me. I just made sure and asked if I could go 3 deep because there's just a ton of quality out here, and there's just 3 of them that I just don't know that I can leave one out and be okay driving home later today. I'm going to tell you which ones are in contention for me, and then I'll show you how I like them. I really liked the young man steer that brought us there in the first division. Man, if you get on top of him, you'd be absolutely impressed that the way I am. He is gorilla backed and monster hipped up high. I just wish for the power or packing up there, we maintain the same kind of heat there at the surface. I wish he was just a shade bigger footed for me, just for all the heat we carry up high. And then in our second division, we certainly were no slouch. Stopped and propped up. I can tie into that one's kind. I just wish we never had to take a step because he needs to be relaxed in the angle of her shoulder. He maybe gets a little more cumbersome out of his rear skeleton, but power is maybe where that one has the advantage over the steer directly in front of him. And then we get our second place steer from our first division, and I think I can tie into that one's look from the side. I love him from shoulder back. That's another one that feeds square out of the back side of his shoulder, maintains it there through his loin. I like his upper rib design. I just wish there was a shade more down low. Need to be pried apart at the base of our forerib and draw softer back into our flank, and just need to be relaxed in the angle of our shoulder. Those 3 steers all have their problems and they all have their positives. It's just up to me to decide which one's my favorite. I think it gets really, really close, but I'm going to go ahead and use the young man from your first division to win the crossbred. Young man directly behind him is going to be reserved. Young lady who is second in class is going to be your 3rd overall crossbred. Congratulations to you all. It's okay.
You want anything for your hands?
It's okay. We'll get that.
Here, you can take this though. Congratulations to Adam Mossman on winning the crossbred division. Congratulations to Austin Laufenberg on winning reserve, and 3rd overall to Kennedy Laufenberg. We got the thumbs? No? Okay. We will be doing the championship drive. We are just waiting to get the thumbs up that we can start from Tilly. Yeah. And animals coming through will be the reserve champion. They will just make a loop around and exit over by Ava and then come back to the holding area. The order will be Dairy, Charlet, Key, Mini Hereford, Maine, Shorthorn, Simmental, AOB, Heifer, and crossbred. So it's Jake, Bred, Mossman. We'll help you, Alyssa. You're fine. You want to start? Okay, we are going to start. First entering is our reserve champion dairy steer, Jake Olson. Yeah, it's okay to clap for these guys. Next is our reserve Charlet, Brett Mossman. And our key steer and exhibitor, Cordell Sampson. The mini Hereford, Nora Bush. Yeah. Next is the Maine steer, Riley Laufenberg. Shorthorn will be Levi Stiesel. They can leave. Oh, okay. Simmental, Colby Sampson. AOB, Nora Bush. Oh, okay. Crossbred, Austin Laufenberg. And crossbred, Kennedy Laufenberg. Let's give a round of applause for all of the reserve champions. They're just going to make one complete circle, and then we will move on to the grands. Okay. And let's give another round of applause for the reserve champions, our judge, and all the ring help. And our queens. And the photographers. And the parents. And the spectators. You're good? Huh? Okay. We would also like to thank our photographer down here, Katie Ramsey, who has been doing the live streaming all day. And Jerome. The man, the myth, the legend, Jerome. We will now be doing our championship drive. First entering the ring will be our dairy, Zoe Schultze. Charlay is Riley Laufenberg. Key steer is shown by Jake Stiesel. The mini Hereford is Bo Peterson. Maine Anjou, Macy Casper. Shorthorn will be next. Shorthorn is Cordell Sampson. Simmental, Mr. Bryce Laufenberg. Any other breed? Brewer Schleifer? You're Austin, right? Okay. Market heifer, Austin Laufenberg. And our crossbred champion is Adam Mossman. Good luck, Grace. Good job. I'll announce that.
Well, before we go ahead and get things started in here, let's go ahead and give these exhibitors a great big round of applause. Like I said during the heifer show, they told me this morning that these kids were going to bring their A game, and they certainly did. Not only do we have some tremendous showmen inside the ring, but you guys brought me just a ton of quality class out. You never know when you get a call to judge a show what you're going to see and what's going to come in next, and you're always thinking in your mind when one comes in, oh, this one could win, because you're not quite sure what you're going to see next. But golly, they just kept coming. The quality just kept getting better and better, and it made my job 10 times harder. I can tell you that. I think there's just a tremendous amount of quality that you guys here in Jackson County need to be proud of. I know that State Fair is next week, and you guys are going to have to roll right in. And I hope some of these guys are going, because I think you'll have some serious contenders down there in West Dallas next week. And you guys should seriously give yourselves a pat on the back for that, because there's not many counties that I get to go to and look at this level of quality. Like I said during the heifer show, these are bar none kids. I don't just say that at every county fair I go to. I say it when I truly mean it. You guys have raised some awesome young people. They should certainly be proud of the blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this, because as somebody who grew up showing, I know what it takes to get them to this point. I know how the hours that it takes in the early mornings and the late nights, and it's no small feat to do it. So you young people, please be proud of yourself, because you've just done a tremendous job here in Jackson County. Like I said, quality runs deep. I'm really thankful I get to pick 5 of them, because otherwise I think it'd make my job even harder. And please understand, even if you don't make the 5, I promise you there's a lot of you in here that I could go 6, 7, 8 deep and still be extremely proud to stand behind them, being a part of your top 10 or what you may have. But unfortunately, I only get to name 5 of them today. There's a particular steer in my mind that came in this morning, and he stayed in my mind all day long. I keep coming back to him. I think he just kind of wins this for fun, in my opinion, and then it gets a little bit closer for there. I want you parents ringside to give these guys one more big round of applause, and then I'll show you the 5 that I like.
Hold on Congratulations to Riley Laufenberg from the Charlet division on winning Grand Champion Steer. Brett Mossman, please bring in your reserve. We will now be selecting reserve champion. Reminder, we are picking the top 5. Congratulations to Adam Mossman on winning reserve champion with his crossbred steer. Austin Laufenberg, please bring in your crossbred steer. Oh, he's a sneaky guy. Oh, thank you.
Attention on the grounds. Gauge on November with the black Chrysler Voyager. Please move your vehicle or blocking parking spots. Again, gauge on November. Please move your black Chrysler Voyager with your blocking parking spots in the parking lot.
Congratulations to Macy Casper on winning 3rd overall with her Maine. Riley Laufen, oh, not, okay. And that's Riley's. Okay. It should be Riley's Maine.
Oh, Riley's Maine, yeah.
It's Riley's Maine.
Yeah, and Andrea's pulling it now.
Congratulations to Austin Laufenberg on winning 4th overall with his crossbred steer. Kennedy Laufenberg is now entering for 3rd with her crossbred steer. We are now selecting the 5th overall. And attention, the beef exhibitors, if you have bred and owned steers, please come back to the ring so we can select bred and owned also. Oh, it will be Riley?
I think so, but I'm not positive.
So they'll just... Congratulations to Kennedy Laufenberg on winning 5th overall with her crossbred steer. We will now, when you guys get done, we are going to be doing the bred and owned. So anybody that's not bred and owned can leave. Top 5, you do not have to come up for sales selection. You are automatically in. Okay, thank you. And pink sweater up here. Paul Fisher is claiming it if nobody else does. It's a little girl's sweater. Lee Laufenberg, Kennedy Laufenberg, and Zoe Schultze. No. Oh, we do have more people coming for bred and owned. No, they're only doing a grand in reserve, but I'm just doing what they tell me, Chris. Do you want recognition for being bred and owned or not? Brenna Thorson is also a bred and owned exhibitor. Bristol Bush is also bred and owned. Preston Yeski, bred and owned. And Nora Bush has a bred and owned mini Hereford. So these exhibitors, the calf was born at their farm and raised. So they raised this right from birth. Let's give these kids a round of applause. We need a little break. Laufenberg, and reserve is Kennedy Laufenberg. Grand Champion Market Beef banner sponsor is by Compeer Financial. Grand Champion Market Beef buyer plaque is sponsored by Freezy Farms. Reserve Grand Champion Market Beef banner sponsored by PJL Cattle, Paige and Lori Janke. Reserve Grand Champion Market Beef buyer plaque sponsored by Jerome and Hope Laufenberg. Third overall Market Beef banner sponsored by Compeer Financial. 4th overall banner sponsored by Black River Health. 5th overall beef banner sponsored by Casper Farms.
Is there a restroom close by?
The grand champion bred and owned market
senior showmanship. Like I said during both shows, we do have a tremendous amount of good showmen here in this county. Those four young people that are facing the back of the barn are going to be the ones that come back for my champion overall senior drive. They're not in any particular order. I just thought that they set themselves apart in terms of their ability to get their cattle presented the way that they need to, and maybe just having a little more style to it. And then from there, the young man's going to go ahead and be, I guess, fifth in this particular class. I just think he's the one who most appropriately gets his livestock set up the way that we need him to, having the back legs offset in the right direction. He knows where I'm at, and he's cool and calm and collected out here, which is certainly something I can appreciate. Maybe he just wasn't quite as quick as those guys ahead of him and able to be getting him set up the way that we need to. But the young man still does a really nice job. The young man directly behind him, I think at times maybe we've got him set up the way that we need to, but at others I catch a look and we just don't got him quite the way we got to have him. We got to make sure those front feet are square and then the back legs are the way that they are. He's cool, calm, and collected, and that's not something you can teach people. Normally kids maybe get just a shade more nervous in terms of showmanship, but just needs a little more work stylistically. Young lady coming next. For me, when I was showing cattle, I always think it's important to keep a thumbs up there at the halter and holding right on the chain, not holding a ton of leather in your hand as well. And then we just got to make sure that we're taking a little bit more time at home to get him to just be able to naturally walk into a comfortable set. Young lady who's going to go ahead and round us out here in the senior showmanship class. Another one that's got the right kind of demeanor out here. Maybe her heifer's just not quite cooperating with her. Just don't have her set up at all times. And then I'm a big fan of making sure that we're dressed for the part. I would prefer some more appropriate footwear. But a really nice class. Excited to get these four back in the ring.
Congratulations to Adam Mossman on winning a blue, Jake Stiesel, Austin Laufenberg, and Macy Casper. Receiving red ribbons were Brewer Schleifer and Jacob Olson, and white ribbons were Alyssa Lindo and Kendall Campen. The four blue ribbon winners will be coming back for the champion senior showmanship drive. This is the second class of senior showmanship.
senior showmanship, the quality still prevailed, in my opinion. Those three young people over there, again, are going to go ahead and come back for our senior drive. They're in no particular order, and I'm excited to get them back out here. But then from there, I have to decide with this young lady to go ahead and be fourth. I thought it was close for her to get the call back in because she does get her livestock set up. It maybe takes just a little bit longer. They're not quite as much of a well-oiled machine as maybe as I'd like. And I just wish I had a shot more intensity from her. The young lady's still doing a nice job. The young man coming next. He probably has the next most control over his livestock. He's able to get him presented out here and stuck for us. Maybe just wish we had a little bit more style, making sure that we're using our show stick as a tool out here rather than just holding on to it for me. And then the young man coming next. I thought it got really close between these three exhibitors because maybe their cattle just aren't quite wanting to cooperate for us out here. But the young man just has the advantage that he does have the ability to get that one stopped and propped up, maybe versus the other two who are just quite not wanting to stand still for us. Young lady coming next. She's been fighting this guy all day long, but hey, she's still having a good time. And I like working with young people that are having a good time. So my hat's off to her for keeping a positive attitude. And then the young lady that's going to go ahead and round us out. Maybe just want to make sure that we've got him presented the way that we need to and got him cleaned off before we come into showmanship. He's just not quite wanting to settle in. We can't ever really get a good look at him because he always seems to be dancing around for us. Like I said, excited to get these three seniors back out here for our champion senior showman.
Congratulations to blue ribbon winners, Franny Everson, Sam Everson, and Brenna Thorson. Receiving a red was Justin Kling, Andrea Ellickson. Receiving white was Jake Kling, Morgan Berg, and Grace Kling received a pink. Entering the ring now are the 7 senior exhibitors. She will be selecting a senior showmanship champion.
Bred County.
Oh,
Their theme is hold on this.
really just one. No, you really just need to do a one champion.
I didn't know if you okay.
No, because they already got like their ribbons, so now they get a belt buckle.
Awesome. I just wanted to know where that.
No, just a belt buckle. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not voting
with somebody else, which is will be our problem.
Yeah. Just that you want to do one last day in the new year?
Oh yeah. I did let Jerome know that we talked to this morning. Everson's.
Yeah.
Intermediate showman, please make your way to the arena with your animals. We will be starting your class after the seniors. If you flip up that
people. They're mostly thankful for the people that they've met along the way of doing this, and that can just stand the test of time. I probably still talk to a lot of people that I grew up showing with, so it's just nice for me as the judge to get to communicate with these guys a little bit. But in terms of their showing, when I tell you guys, I've gotten to judge quite a few fairs this summer, and your guys as senior showmen are amongst the best of them. I truly mean that. I could honestly pick a top 5 here in the senior showmanship division, so they're real good. Unfortunately, I only get to pick a champion today, and that's really hard for me as a judge because some of you guys may go home wondering why you didn't get the handshake or something like that, but I promise you it's going to come down to the minute things. Obviously, there's going to be some personal preference that weighs in on showmanship, and I just think there's a showman that all day long has been dang gun good, no doubt about it. Their cattle are always presented the way that they need to be. I like their intensity. I like their demeanor. It just is a natural thing for them out here. I don't think a singular time that this calf has moved. It's just stopped and propped up, and they're game on, ready to rock and roll. Nothing to take away from these other exhibitors because they're doing a real good job. Let's give all of our senior showmen a big round of applause, and then I'll go ahead and show you my champion. Just one, right?
Yes, ma'am. It's not off. You're live.
Okay, thank you. Ooh. Congratulations to Adam Mossman on receiving the Champion Senior Showman. Adam is receiving a belt buckle that is sponsored by the Jackson County Junior Livestock Sale Committee. Congratulations, Adam. Entering the ring next will be the intermediate showman. These exhibitors range in age from 12 to 14 years old.
Well, only one heat here for our intermediate showman, and I think all the way down into 5-6 spots, it's really, really competitive, and my hat's off to you guys. I went ahead and took some time to talk to the kids over here on my right about the things that we can improve upon maybe for next year, but here in these top 3 exhibitors, it just takes one wrong move, unfortunately, to find yourself eliminated from contention. These 2 young people, I kept coming back to them all morning, and showmanship is an all-day ordeal, and they've just been dead nuts on it all day long. It's super, super close between these 2. I think there's things maybe about both of them that I do just a tad differently. For the young lady, maybe your heifer's not quite wanting to settle in with us, but hey, we can't eliminate adversity from our lives. It's all about how we deal with adversity, and she's sticking with it out here, so my hat's off to you. And then maybe for the young man, he's really wanting to utilize the whole ring, which I can certainly appreciate as a judge, because maybe at times we get a tad congested, but then in the same breath, maybe sometimes we're getting a little too tucked into a corner. For me, it's kind of hard to find you and kind of hard to see you, and those are the things that maybe I'd change, but hey, that is being extremely critical on 2 top-notch showmen. I'm going to go ahead and give them one more look, shake the hand of my champion showman. The other exhibitor will be reserved, but let's give these guys a really big round of applause. It's close, young ladies. Congratulations.
Bryce Laufenberg on being the champion intermediate showman. He will receive a belt buckle sponsored by Jackson County Junior Livestock Sale Committee. Congratulations to Taylor Laufenberg on being reserve champion. Congratulations to Riley Laufenberg, Levi Stiesel, Cordell Sampson, and Colby Sampson on receiving reds. Zoe Schulze, Julia Berg, Preston Yeski on receiving whites. Entering the ring next will be our beginner showmen. These exhibitors range in age from 8 to 11 years old.
what we can do moving forward to improve. But I think even down there into 3 and 4, we've got some showmen who've got what it takes. It's just going to be a few things that sort them. I think between this pair, like I said, there's a showman that all day long has had the intensity and the grit to want to be excellent, and they just have been excellent. I'm going to go ahead and give them one more look and then shake the hand of my champion. But let's give these little guys a big round of applause.
Congratulations to Kennedy Laufenberg on winning beginner showmanship. She is receiving a belt buckle donated by the Jackson County Junior Livestock Sale Committee. Okay, you beginners can exit. If you guys are part of the sale selection, you can certainly stay up here. Bristol, yeah, she should.